Good morning. It is September 4th. It is a Thursday. We've got some smoke to talk about. We got some air quality issues, air quality alerts for parts of the Central Valley and even eastern portions of the Bay Area. Some thunderstorms possible again today. The cooling trend is well underway. So you noticed it maybe a little bit yesterday, but you'll notice it more today and then the next couple of days. So those fires, those thousands of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes from a couple days ago, those fires are going to have an opportunity to gain some ground. Cal Fire, right? The weather's going to cooperate. That's what I was trying to say. So very fortunate, by the way, thousands of lightning strikes. And we had fire starts for sure. All seem to be being managed well right now. I'm not seeing anything that's alarming. The Chinese camp, historical town, that was pretty much wiped off the map, which was very sad historically. And people live there. Not a lot of people, but some people live there. But overall, the big picture, that many lightning strikes in September and that few fire starts was pretty unique. It does speak to the amount of precipitation. We talked about it here. We were looking at precipitable water, and we were like, yeah, there's some moisture with these things, right? So, and that helped quite a bit. But there is smoke now. In the mornings, it's the worst, right? The smoke drains down into the cooler valley. The cooler mountains drain the cool air out of like Kings Canyon and the river valleys, and the cool air sinks and settles. And so what I'm trying to say is the air quality is nastier in the morning, and that's what we're seeing. We can kind of do that. We'll take a quick tour of the satellite image. There's the smoke from the Garnet fire. More smoke. This is the CZU complex here, SCU, pardon me. And then this is some smoke left over from yesterday. And it's being, I guess if you look at it, you can interpret that the motion of the clouds, we don't even have to interpret it, we can do it, right? Let's just put a loop on this bad boy. And you'll see that the general flow, whoops, I hate to do this to you. General flow is pushing everything kind of out and away. So you can see it, right, being pushed away out here. And so the flow is generally westerly. And then this moisture plume here, sorry about that glitch. Let me see, I'll stop it down. The moisture plume that brought us all this activity last couple of days will continue to move to the east. However, so there it is. There's a lot of moisture that lingers around after that. Like you don't see it yet. Well, you can kind of pick up a few cumulus clouds volume, but you'll see in the HRRR model today, there are more potential thunderstorms in this area, but significantly less activity, significantly less. So it'd be more of a pop-up shower, pop-up thunderstorm. But that moisture for literally the next couple of days is going to linger. So it's interesting. So this was the real explosive stuff, but in this zone here, you've still got high RH or high dew points, and so you've got moisture in the air that's going to react to the heating of the day. Here's the fog along the coast, deeper marine layer today. Santa Barbara south down to Santa Monica. You guys got another money day. It's been really awesome weather in Southern California, which is pretty typical for August and September. This is the purple air. This is air quality map. Lots of data points, but you can see where the smoke, that's near the SCU complex. And the complex being the lightning starts. They kind of lumped all the fires into one kind of a complex, right? Because that's where most of these small fires had started. And some of those fires are over 1,000 acres now. But it does appear from what I'm seeing in WatchDuty that they're getting pretty good. They're getting some containment on some. Garnet has a ton of containment. But some of the other ones from yesterday, the Milton Road fire, they've got some containment. And a couple they don't yet, but I think they're have a pretty good opportunity. But anyway, here's your air quality stuff. And does that sift into the Bay Area? A little bit. There's a little bit of air quality in the Bay Area, and then Southern California has their normal morning commute. And then Northern California, this is up in the Trinity Alps where there are still some fires burning. So this is what air quality looks like when it's bad. I think you'll see this morning the smoke settles down because of cool air, right? And then you'll see the smoke start to lift out as the sun begins to heat the earth a little bit. This is down the Central Valley. Cool light flares, but just that air quality sucks, right? And that's how it looks. That's out east of Modesto. This is, which one is this? This is, I think this is down towards Garnett. It's hard to tell because everything's smoky. But you see the smoke in the area. So this is another kind of in the foothills east of Modesto. There's fire plume there. I think this might be Garnett. And that plume not as aggressive as it had been. And you can see it busting through the inversion. Wow. So again, conditions very favorable. This is another shot. I'm just showing you the smoke and why Purple Air's got those bad numbers over it. The weather forecast is awesome. So CAL FIRE, they're figuring this into the plan, and that makes me happy because I know how, coming into a weekend and it's still summer, people out there and about, and a lot of people on the roadways, and you just want to have a weather pattern like we have coming up. The weather pattern coming up, you'll see it in the GFS, is I think very favorable for not for September for not having fire starts. We'll have fire starts. Another shot. I love this landscape. There's some smoke. We're looking kind of towards the north. And let's see where we are here. Let's see what the valley looks like. Yeah, we're looking north towards Fresno and McFarland. And then again, I know I'm obsessed with the live cameras. I do love them though, because it just shows that air quality. This is actually, this was kind of odd. This is Lake Tahoe. So they're getting some smoke up there this morning. Some of that smoke from the foothill fires. And I think it'll show it. I think it starts to get smokier here as the morning goes on. Yeah, the smoke lifts out in the valley and kind of gets set. So that's up around Lake Tahoe. So we've, air quality, not that great. This is the complex of fires. These numbers they represent, they just started numbering them 2.2, 2.8, the 6.2, 1,000 acres on 6.2. This fire they have good containment on. 2.7 has almost 600 acres. That's south of McCormick. That's the McCormick fire, 3.25 acres. So all this stuff, this is a big one, but you can see how it's kind of grayed out. That tells you they're getting some containment on it. This is the one just outside Oakdale. These are all outside Modesto, like up by Lake Don Pedro and Copperopolis. This is a 6,000 acre fire. This is all area roads from Bell Mooney and Jacksonville Road west to Highway 49 and from 108 south to Old Jackson Road. They are closed. The fire is almost 7,000 acres and remains 0% contained. All previously issued evacuation orders and warnings remain in effect today. So, and they're fighting it hard. They're fighting it hard. So I think today, the next couple of days, they're going to have an opportunity to make a lot of ground on these. West Coast fires. You can see Oregon and Washington getting pretty lit up. And then here's our smoke forecasting through the next couple of days. So if you're in the Central Valley, south of Sacramento, south of Rockland, you're going to be seeing some smoke, especially in the morning hours as it kind of gets drained, comes down like the cooler air sinks, drains down into the drainage, and then kind of undercuts. The valley is very warm, but this cool air wedges underneath it, and that creates an inversion which traps the smoke, which makes the mornings much more unhealthy. And evenings too do the same thing, but in the mornings certainly. Here's our marine layer, and this is Mount Tamalpais, our marine layer. I'm just illustrating what we do every day and just looking at the profile of the fog. And after this, we'll get the profile. But you can guess. I look at that, I go, I don't know, 2,000 feet deep, something like that. And then we can go to the profiler, which is a little further south, but works. Yeah, so that's almost, profiler shows us yesterday. Blue line is the inversion. There's a cross section of that fog, right? It's a cross section. So you see it a little cooler yesterday or a little thicker, and then drop down a little today. And the inversion, that blue line, just at about 2,000 feet. So pretty deep, indicating that cooling is underway. And in fact, we are seeing that. And here are the numbers. These are the highs forecast for today. They'll be a little cooler than they were yesterday. Hope you got a good day planned up. Today's Thursday, so we're not far from the weekend. So there's that. Today, what? Santa Barbara goes 74. Los Angeles goes 82. San Diego goes 78. Las Vegas 96. These are reasonable numbers. Reasonable. Watch what happens. Okay, so your Cal Fire, you go, oh hell yeah, that's the forecast for today. We can manage that. And we're not seeing tons of wind. The flow is generally out of the west, so you've got a little bit of a bump in humidity, which helps immensely. Just a couple percentage points in humidity help firefighters quite a bit, and that's what we'll see, not just today, but check out tomorrow. Look at that. So that's a big. So here's today. See the reds and the oranges. Here's tomorrow. Whoops. Here's tomorrow. More yellow. So a milder pattern. Sacramento just stays in the 80s, upper 80s tomorrow. Redding will still hit in the low 90s, but these conditions, and not only tomorrow, but Saturday, Sunday. So there's a good 3 or 4 days. I would anticipate that these fires are going to have a good level of squash to them. Squash being just containment's going to grow rapidly the next 2 or 3 days on all these fires, if all goes well. So these are the forecast numbers for tomorrow. Here is the potential. Remember I started off and I said, hey, look, there's all this moisture. You can see it. Remember, we could see it moving off. You could see the white clouds. And I said, oh, but there's more in here. That's exactly what we're looking at now. HRRR forecast thunderstorms for today. Day heats up, and you'll see the moisture. Right. So those are little thunderstorms, and that's not far. A little east of the fire zones, but still pop-up thunderstorms are a real possibility south of Lake Tahoe and even at South Lake Tahoe. That's today. So be aware. But again, if you hear, thunderstorms in the mountain, it shouldn't be a big event at all. It should be just pop up. There's one way over there, maybe not even getting any thunder out of it. And then we go into Friday. And here comes Friday. Friday, very aggressive. See that? But further east. And you see it move off. So maybe Reno gets, not Reno, maybe Carson City a little bit. So that's the forecast. So if you're in the foothills, this is this afternoon right here. That's, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. And then here is tomorrow afternoon. And you can clearly see the outline of the state. This is the GFS. We look at this. This is Vorticity. Love this map. Jet stream up at about 500 millibars, or halfway up through the atmosphere. And it represents energy. This is the motor. So this system, like right here, I'll put a circle around this today. If this area here, if that gets moisture, it's going to rain. If it has access to moisture, it's going to rain. If it's winter, it's probably going to rain. If it's this time of year, it's probably going to be cooler, maybe a little breezy, but the right direction for fires, more westerly, southwesterly. And yeah, so here's this area. So the cooler part adds in for us, right? See that Vort lobe go through, Vorticity lobe, kind of spinning around. There's the parent lobe, which is the big red, yellow, orange area. That sort of swings through. This is 10 a.m. on Monday morning, right? Look at this. I mean, this is firefighters' dream, and in fact, potential for rain in these areas. You know what we could do? Let's do it too. So you see, and then there's a little bit of an opportunity for heat up right. Where is it? It doesn't really show up. There's a little heat up here around September 18th. What can I do? I think I could go here. Let's do this. Let's switch over to GFS and go out and see if the GFS goes really far, but let's see if it pulls any of that rain in for us. See that? Interesting. Is this GFS? Yeah. I think I want precip, though. For some reason, it doesn't feel like it's precip. Sea level precip, so I want. Okay. So we're just going back to a model now, because we just picked up in the 500 millibar. We picked up. Oh yeah, there's a really strong low pressure center to the north. So here, let's just smooth this out. You see the thunderstorm potential out in Nevada. When I see something, I'll let you know. So this right there, September 8th. That's Crescent City. That would be rain for Crescent City and maybe even Point Arena. And then that low sinks further south and does it again. That's September 10th. So this is very interesting. Again, look at that. Drizzle, showers, September 11th. So certainly cooler. I can see the thickness lines. Those are the dash lines dropping. So certainly cooler. And a chance of some showers. So I know this is fantasy land for sure. But still, kind of gives us an idea. Okay, so that's that. Now, the subtropical moisture, can you pick out the monsoonal moisture? I bet you can. right? This is tropical storm, big storm. Now, if that was the low, we talked about last day. If this was all a little further out here, it would get sucked into that and we'd have a problem. But most of this is feeding the Intermountain region, and they will have some significant thunderstorms as this moisture gets pulled in. So Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, next day or so. But that's a lot of moisture. And then, let's see if I could do we do a little, taking a chance. Can I do that? A little low here. Oh, and that high is like that, remember? And then this trough here. Okay, there you go. All right, that's the jet. That would be the jet stream. Okay, so far so good. One of the things I like to do is these are the watches and warnings. One of the things I like to do is show real pictures, data, and then real pictures. Like, here's the model. Here's what it looks like. Here's purple air going purple. This is what 250 parts per million looks like in a real picture. I mean, I don't know. I'm that way. I think most people are that way. I think when you can see what we're talking about and then see it, oh, that's what the sounding's showing. It's sounding the profiler. It's showing the inversion. There's the fog top. Oh, there's the blue line. There's the fog. These are the watches and warnings for today. And heat, very heaty. This is air quality. This is air quality. And I'll put this out there. See these areas? That's high wind warnings, advisories, wind advisory. And this is air quality. So my first assumption is, I'm thinking blowing dust and smoke. There's still some smoke coming down from Canada, breezy conditions, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was like kind of dust storm stuff in here. Well, let's see if we can pick it up. I don't think it'll go that granular. Let's try it. But anyway, this map's awesome because it just gives you an idea what you're looking at. Extreme weather, wind advisory, air quality alert. Let's see if they go much with the air quality alerts, how deep we can go into this. Air quality alert. Conversational. The following messages transmitted air quality for wildfires, all zones. Health. The Wyoming Department of Health recommends children. Okay, they're giving it wildfire stuff. Okay, so it's ejecting wildfire smoke in. Here is the 6 to 10 day outlook. This verifies based on what we looked at on the GFS. 500 millibar vorticity. Remember that trough? And I go, oh, yeah. And we went and looked for rain, and we saw some. So you'll see that certainly below average. That verifies. And then this verifies too, right? We saw the rain potential up towards Crescent City and Cape Mendocino and those areas. So that'd be nice. This would be money. If you got rain in here in 6 to 10 day, that's a huge, because it would be coming from an extratropical direction, which would hopefully negate thunderstorms. This is wave height over the next 12 days or so. And look at this. This is surf's coming in right here. You can see that it's starting to show up. That's the Aleutians. That's not a storm. That's surf, but you can bet there's a storm above it. And then you see all the swell starting to develop. So we are getting into our fall, which if you are a surfer, I think fall's the best time of year. Yeah, so we're starting to get swell on the coast. And then you can see the southern hemisphere still has energy. They're coming into their, let's see, wouldn't they be coming into their summer? Yeah, spring. As we go into fall, they're going into spring. This is Ocean Beach. I heard it was good this morning. I'm not going to say which part of the beach, but I heard it was pretty fun. This anytime you get a day, get to surf Ocean Beach, it's 2 to 4. Anytime you get to surf Ocean Beach in early September, that's a bonus day. I used to count on mid-September through just Christmas, like, oh, it's going to be good, Ocean Beach. And then after Christmas, it would get a little scary because the swells would get so big. But there's still a lot of days afterwards. This is Cardiff. Is it Cardiff? Yeah, it's Cardiff Reef, 2 to 4 foot. What do I got to say about that beautiful day? They've had awesome weather in Southern California. Like I said, temperatures down there in the 70s today. And just really, really nice weather. Glad you're out there having fun. Today is a beautiful day along the coast of Southern California. Mount Shasta, prettiest mountain in the world. There, I said it. I don't know if it is. I don't know how you quantify that. It's like that thing. This is fast forward. It's like that thing, Sutter Buttes. I mentioned this once before, but as a geography major, physical at Cal, and we talked about, landforms and stuff, a little moisture showing up on the cap. And the Sutter Buttes are the smallest mountain range in the world, right? So I did a deep dive into that. And what I found out was that the Sutter Buttes are not the smallest mountain range in the world. The geologists don't measure mountain ranges. I mean, it's not even on their radar. Unless you could, I did a deep dive about 2 months ago into this, and I found out it was sort of like when California was being settled, after the railroad was built, or when people started coming out west, probably in the late 1800s, they were always selling California, right? So build your homestead at the base of the smallest mountain range in the world. Everything was being oversold. The largest oranges ever, the healthiest springs. It was very much a sales job. And so as the best of my research, and you can help me with this if you want to be researchy. Looks like thunderstorms up here today, right? That's some of that moisture we talked about that wasn't showing up in the satellite, but now here it is 10:30 in the morning, and you've got these showing up. And if you check back on this Alert California cam in 3 hours, those things are going to be towering. They're already bubbling, right? Give the sun a little time to do its work. But yeah, you can do a little deep dive on that if you want and check it out. But California's funny that way. It's always been, it's funny they had to sell it, but I think it was just investors and real estate people just were so excited about, the prospect of land, because these are European colonialists that came over. They didn't have much land there. They came here and they felt like they had a bunch of land in the Carolinas and in the New Hampshire area. And then they realized, we're getting pretty busy here. And then they'd go, let's go out west. And so they started selling it. And I think smallest mountain range in the world, pretty sure. And even one of my professors called it the smallest mountain range in the world. And I did a deep dive. And it wasn't horribly deep, but it felt deep to me. Here's a watering hole in the Mojave Desert. I find this fascinating. Sometimes I'll watch it just because I feel like if I'm a predator, look at you. That's a quail. That's Franny. I like that little kitty cat too. Mojave Desert today is going to go about 106 degrees. That's a beautiful quail. It's interesting. You put water down, everybody gets along, right? Put food down. Oh, there's a little food coming off those. But I was going to say, you put food down, people don't get along as well. Birds, specifically hummingbirds. Oh, let's try this. I don't know what I got going. Let's try this. Okay, bears. One of those days, man. Okay, today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We have a cooling trend coming. These fires are going to get a break. Air quality will get a little better with that more westerly, southwesterly flow that develops. What else we got for you? I think that's it. I'm gone. No, I'm not gone. I'm around. I'm going to try to surf with Bill tomorrow. I'll try to do one again tomorrow. Oh, and then I was going to say, as we look at the fattest bear in the world. Look at him. He's just like, I'm fat. I'm fat and I don't care. Good fat. It's good to be fat when you're a bear. But I was going through I did this thing on sharks, just more anecdotal. Like I've been surfing the coast for a bazillion years. And I did this thing on sharks, and I kind of told my stories, and most of them were encounters. I never got bit, but I know a lot of guys who've been bit. A weirdly number, not a lot, but more. I probably know more people who've been bit by sharks personally than anybody. Is that possible? I shouldn't do that. Well, only because I'm in TV, and so I was. So all the guys on the coast, they'd tell me, right? I'd get to know them. Either we interviewed them for, you got bit. But the stories on the video's okay. I like it. But the comments, read the comments. Because some of you guys have been, it's like a community board for comments on sharks. And what you find, right, the shark bite is a shark bite. Encounter is an encounter. Encounters don't really get reported. I've had a few encounters. I've never told anybody except my kids or my wife or a friend. I never went to the officials and said this. And it turns out that we all have had shark encounters, that if you've surfed any amount of time, and none of us report them. So they go underreported. So when you read these stories, you go, holy. Some of the stories because there's places I surf or used to surf a lot. And some of the stories are terrifying, and they're told so well. So I appreciate the comments on those, because I mean, it's worth a watch. Or just go to the video. Don't even watch the video if you don't want to. Just go look at the comments, because it's like, holy smokes, man, you guys, that's terrifying. And you can tell, like, somebody goes, oh no, they're BS. You can tell when somebody's BSing you, right? You can tell. I know, like, they're naming things. They're talking about places that you shouldn't know about unless you were there and unless it happened. Okay, so tell a friend. That'd be awesome. Having fun. Yeah, okay. Hate to go. I'm having such a lovely. I still have a cup of coffee. I ain't kidding. Okay, remember, smallest mountain range in the world. Not buying it. See you back here.